This is the most common misconception from an amateur. You don't own 10 properties until bank gives you the deed, bud. Until 30 years up, you don't own one. Okay, Vegeta, let me explain to you. Because you see here, guys, a lot of people think, well, amateurs who don't become professional investors, they think, oh, the end goal is to own a lot of properties. The end goal isn't to own a lot of properties and, have a deed and put it in your bloody drawer, right? The end goal is, how do you use these properties through lending to reduce the tax you got to pay the government? Say, for example, my brokerage earns last year, turnover about $1 million, right? Expenses are director's wage, which I pay them myself. I wage 150K. My wife, maybe 80, 90K to do a bit of admin. Car expenses, employees, which I have about 3. And then rent from my office, etc. The total expenses is 400K. My net profit after expenses is a net profit of 600K. Based on very simple basic tax, not to break down different brackets of tax, on a 45%, because I'm over, the 190K, the tax payable is 270. Now, if you watch season 1 of Dragon Ball Z, Vegeta will be the loser who can't go Super Saiyan. But I'm Goku. I can go Super Saiyan. And this is what I do. Vegeta over here would basically be a sole trader or company ABN, whatever it is, he has to pay 270K in tax to the ATO. But myself, which is the Super Saiyan Goku, right? I don't want to pay this. So I have 8 properties. Well, maybe 7 properties, 7 investment properties, because the other one is my PPOR. And I'll use these 7 investment properties to generate a ton of negative gearing, which is basically my Kamehameha if you watch Dragon Ball Z. And over here is the ATO. And I'll blast the ATO with negative gearing claims. Legit, by the way, this is not a tax avoidance. For example, 16K of interest loss, because the rental income is definitely lower than the interest being charged, probably at 6.5% at the moment, each investment property. Times it by 7, that's 96K of loss, plus depreciation, yada, yada, yada. Say I've made a loss of 170K from owning these 7 investment properties. I get the 170K minus that. Haha. In a simple world, 270K minus 170K of negative gearing loss. Boom. If this pen is the ATO. So, buddy, the North Star isn't to own a lot of properties and then pay them off. The North Star is to use a ton of mortgage, gear it to the hilt, and use that to negative gear your income, so I can continually use debt, which is the bank's money, to grow my 8 properties, or my 7 investment properties, so that when I retire, this will maybe be worth maybe $10 million. And when 30 years is up, I'll extend it for another 30 years. The point is not to pay down my debt, it's to have a vehicle to claim the deduction, so I don't need to pay too much tax.